How beautiful and how appropriate for her to sing those beautiful lyrics during Black History Month. It's what's called Black Pride Month. There could be that also. But how beautiful. If you'll do me a favor, if you'll stand on your feet, everyone's been sick, had a cold, had the flu, claimed the flu, want the flu so you can call off work. Those in the back laughed. But let's push off that sickness energy. Push it off, blow it out. Blow that energy off of you. And then if you'll join me in prayer. Divine, bring to me what is your will. Show us what is your will. Demonstrate us what is your will. For we are seeking and open to the divine mind, and so it is. You can have a seat. And if you're a first-time visitor here, thank you very much for honoring us with your presence. We do not take that for granted. I say that every Sunday. We do not take that for granted. You sharing your sacred Sunday space with us. We are honored to have you here. We also to celebrate your journey. Whatever your journey is, no matter what your journey is, we celebrate you. In John, I think it's John 10:16, Jesus teaches, I have many pastors and many sheep that you haven't seen or even he hadn't seen. So we celebrate you in that journey. Also, I wanted to thank everybody if you were here last week. Bishop Carlton Pearson sends his love. You were blessed. He was blessed. We were blessed. Blessed, 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 blessed. And he can't wait to come back because he said to us, he shared with Reverend Temple and myself, I've spoken in many Unity churches, many New Thought churches, many Science of Mind establishments, but you've got something they don't have. Well, I'll tell you, she would not say this because she's humble, but that's what he said. In all essence, he said that our spirit here is a lead domino. And that's what I always say. I'd rather be a lead domino than a follow domino because I'd rather fall in the back than fall and hit somebody's butt. So this month is Happy Black History Month. Say it to your neighbor. And I know about 98% of you are saying, well, what does that have to do with me? It has everything to do with you. Black History Month. Someone stopped me actually about a couple of weeks ago when we were planning this whole month of celebrating Black History Month, said, Reverend Richard, I don't understand why we're having Black History Month. Why are we having Black History Month? What's that got to do with me? I said, because it's Black History Month. That's why we're celebrating Black History Month. It's because we should be dancing in joy, celebrating our brothers and sisters. And the sad thing is, yes, it's not only Black History Month. We should be celebrating our brothers and sisters every day of the year. Black history is important. It is for me because half my family's black. Half my cousins are black. Half my baby's cousin. No, I don't have a baby's cousin, do I? My husband's black. And if you hadn't noticed, he's quite cute. He's acting like he can't hear me now. But let me ask you this. This is how Black History Month affects you. Show of hands in this room, who drove here today? Okay, show me hands again that wish you had driven here today. Wish that you had driven here today. And the why I bring that up is because I have to get the name right. A black gentleman, a black scientist by the name of Garrett Morgan created the red light. Guess what? There's a little bit of blackness on every block in this country. Yeah. Garrett Morgan didn't only, no, I have to ask you this question. How many of you wore clothes here today? Hallelujah, they got dressed to come to church today. Woo! Guess what? Garrett Morgan did the patent on the sewing machine. How beautiful is that? Okay, then I'll ask you this question. How many here, by show of hands, bought groceries this week or this month? Are the rest of you going hungry? Again, let me see that. Oh, she's hungry. Okay, let me get this name right. Another black inventor, Frederick Jones, revolutionized the refrigerator. Oh, I got that. Thank you. Revolutionized the refrigerator industry. He created and invented, guess what? The refrigerator system that goes on the back of semis that brings your groceries from the farmer to your refrigerator. Isn't that beautiful? How beautiful are these amazing people? And then there's a lot of light bulbs around us. Bet you didn't know, bet your history class didn't tell you that the patent on the first light bulb was by Louis Lamar, a black inventor. How beautiful is that? And I'm looking at notes because I had to look some of this stuff up myself. All right, ladies, I'm coming down your territory. The first female millionaire in the early 1900s, I'll shake my head to this one, created hair care products. She was the first female to be a millionaire. Her name, she went by, it wasn't really her name, but she went by Madam C.J. Walker. How beautiful is that? I said, how beautiful is that? I can mention Tyler Perry. I can mention Oprah Winfrey, as I always call her Okra. Great leaders of the modern day. Patricia Path currently created the laser that helps correct blindness. A black inventor. How beautiful is that? And I'll tell you a fun one. Another inventor by the name of Lonnie Johnson, a black inventor. He patented 80 toys. And probably every one of your white faces in here have been sprayed by one, called the Super Soaker. How beautiful is that? Black History Month also too rings a bell for me. Not just because of the funny things I said earlier, but the great divine God led me to a ministry in Atlanta many years ago that rubbed a lot of white folks the wrong way. They were busing black folks from the quote-unquote black side of town, while white pastors were shooting bullets through the windows and through the church and said, don't bring black people into our neighborhood. Well, we were a lead domino. So just to get to them, the first bulletin in the church was a black and white hand. Because we were going to be the first church that integrated. whether they wanted it or not. For many years, we shared our pews with white faces and black faces. We were lead domino. We ordained women before it was very popular. They even went a step further to show you how we were lead domino. A church of 6,000 people in the most watched television show on Sunday morning ordained their first openly gay pastor. I tell you all that, I'm speaking from my heart. My notes are done. I'm speaking from my heart because I don't take this mantle lightly. Our bishop, not bishop that was with us last week, but a bishop that he would call a daddy, stricken down with cancer and spent 5 years never getting out of the bed. He would ask Chris and myself, boys, he'd call. We were the only people outside the immediate family that he would allow to see him in those conditions. He'd say, boys, you want to come over? And I would go over and shampoo his hair in the bed with some of that psst. Y'all know what that's about. Psst. And I would stroke his face and shave him while he told me stories of meeting with Daddy Martin. Martin Luther King Jr., his father, they would sit and talk about how they were going to affect the city of Atlanta. He was one of the only white pastors involved with the civil rights movement. And I honored sitting as he would tell me stories about how great it was when he saw the first black family come into his church and how he celebrated even though half of his church walked out the door. He told me about he was the only white pastor speaking at black churches in the South. And he was at one all-black church, and he was the only white person there while he could see hoods outside the windows going around. And they asked him, well, were you scared? He said, no, I just preached louder. As a parent, the people outside need to hear me more than the people inside. I don't take this mantle lightly, because in the late 1800s, well, I guess would be Chris's great-grandfather, which would be my great-grandfather-in-law, was one of the first black doctors in southeast Georgia, in Valdosta, actually. His little house that he practiced medicine is still in our family. We have his Dr. Boggs. We have his reading glasses. We have many of his notes. He was one of the first black doctors in the late 1800s, late 1800s, who went to Tennessee and went to medical school. And then in the late 1800s, he became one of the first bishops ordained in the Church of God in Christ, which a lot of people don't know was originally supposed to be an integrated denomination, but it never happened. So in the late 1800s, he was teaching and studying traditional Christianity. About 1927, I believe it was, we discovered that black doctor from South Georgia, who had moved his family to Chicago, started studying unity. Back before they would even let a black person on the campus, because they didn't let that happen until 1952 when Johnny Coleman was the first black female to live on campus. And I don't take this mantle lightly, because I feel like those shoulders I'm standing on great shoulders. And I really feel in my heart that that's been nearly 100 years ago, almost. I feel that he was already in the movement, that he was already seeking a movement in his family. And I really feel the reason why that we're here is probably because he planted those seeds 100 years ago. Isn't that beautiful? We've come a long way since the civil rights movement. We've come a long way since Burn the Bra movement. Well, some of you have. We've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. I need a brown face to come forward, a male preferably. And I said a brown face, and I'm glad no one of you with self-tanner jumped up. You can come close, I won't bite you, you know that. I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there's privilege of having white skin. It's a known fact. Because I don't have to worry about going to the grocery store or the gas station. I don't have to worry about being pulled over by the policeman. But you do, solely because of the color of your skin. And I'm going to ask you to represent all the black community, male and female, but especially our young black men. Because, you know, we do have privilege. We don't get discriminated against the way that you do. When I drive down the road and I see a sign in the yard that says, "Not my son." How dare you Americans? Not my son. I don't have to do that, but you do. Honestly, in my heart, it's appalling that we have to say, "Not my son," because those sons are ours. Those black young men are ours. And I want to say to you and the community, we've come a long way. We've got a hell of a long way to go. We've got a long way to go. And I want to ask for forgiveness. We do have a long way to go. But you know what, brother? I would rather have you on my team. You want to fight with him? I'd want to lift up all my life, because my parents raised me well, very well. I love my black brothers and sisters. I celebrate our differences. Sometimes I celebrate our differences. I rejoice in our differences because I've got a lot to learn. I've not been through the crap that you all have been through. But the beautiful thing is, you're amongst people and a unity movement that loves you. We love you. We love your community.
How beautiful
And if you'll give me just 2 more seconds of your time. Look at these beautiful brown faces who've done so much, who've walked so far. Dr. Martin Luther King was a peaceful protester. And I believe if he was alive today, he would be protesting not only for the black community, he would be protesting for the Latino community, the gay community, the children, the women. He would be marching with those who needed a voice. Nelson Mandela, I remember the day that he died. I heard it on the news, and it grasped my heart. It took every breath from my soul. And I walked to the dining room window, and tears began to stream down my face. Here's a man who spent 26 years in prison trying to better the lives of the black people in South Africa. Do you think he lost his wind? No, he came out and became the first black leader in South Africa. Isn't that beautiful? And in closing, I wanted to share something that Ernest Holmes said because it struck so close to home for me. Because if you open up Science of Mind, it's literally in the introduction, 3rd paragraph. So I think that's pretty important. Ernest Holmes says in Science of Mind, the divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. And so it is. Thank you for being here today.